Hello, hello. I'm Anthony Atlas with Salient Predictions. So let me ask you a question. What causes the most variability in crop production? Anyone? You guys are smart. It's the weather. Yeah, it accounts for 40 to 80% of the variability. And as weather volatility increases, corporate earnings and farmer incomes go down. So imagine you're in one of these roles. How do you plan for the quarter or the year ahead? Probably you rely on assumptions based on historical averages. Businesses typically plan for the future by looking at the past. But what happens when history stops repeating itself? When the range of possible outcomes is greater than ever before, the usefulness of historical data dries up. In a month or a season, a drought sets in, and it wreaks havoc on supply chains and farmer livelihoods. So you might think, well, what about a weather forecast? I'm sure we've all been disappointed by the local weather forecast at some point. I mean, it's hard enough to forecast the weather for this weekend, let alone weeks or months into the future, which is what businesses need. In the short term, the atmosphere dictates the weather. That's why governments spend billions of dollars modeling the atmosphere. But it's also incredibly chaotic. Beyond 1 week, 2 weeks, it really doesn't help you forecast anything. At Salient, our mission is to forecast further. We want to leave historical averages in the past and break through the limit of short-term forecasts. So what you see here, these are basically the inputs to our model, what we focus on, and what we're able to achieve. Unlike the models developed by government agencies, Salient built a machine learning model that takes a whole bunch of weather data and other model outputs, and it tries to find patterns in the ocean and land data, because that's what drives the weather further out. The oceans are the source of all the moisture in the atmosphere and the destination for most of the heat. The system we've built enables us to forecast out to 1 year with higher accuracy and better reliability than anything available today. We're running a pilot with AB InBev with the North American Agronomy Group with major implications for procurement and trading. Now, when you're forecasting the future, it takes a while to get all the data and build the business case. But equally important is looking at examples of what you could have done with the forecasts. And so that's what we did with AB InBev, and I'll walk through one example. Back in 2021, there was a major drought in the upper Midwest. The fields simply did not have the moisture needed to support the crop. In August of the year prior, we caught the signal of that drought. And in March, we forecasted below normal precipitation for the entire period of May through July. So that's 2 to 5 months in advance. We saw this coming and no one else did. So imagine, what could ABI have done if they had known this? Well, procurement might have accounted for decreased yields in their planning. They would have contracted more grain, shifted the regional allocation, saving money on the transfer costs. The agronomists could have advised farmers to apply less nitrogen. This would have improved the grain quality and the acceptance rate, saving money, again, transfer costs and volumes. And trading could have anticipated price and supply risks, improved their hedging and forward contracting. And this wasn't just an isolated incident. They also experienced drought in South Africa and flooding in Mexico. Each of these events cost the company millions of dollars. Now, the weather is always changing, but because the volatility is going up, we know the frequency of this problem is increasing. And it's not just about the economics. If you think about farmer incomes and the environment, there's really a win-win-win opportunity here. Fortunately, Salient is gaining momentum. We've won numerous accounts and awards where our forecasts have been rigorously vetted. We're backed by a fantastic set of investors, and we just had our best quarter ever. And it's really all thanks to our team here. They're lovingly a whole bunch of science nerds from the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute and MIT, one of whom literally wrote the book on how oceans drive seasonal weather patterns. So we started in agriculture, but the weather impacts every industry. And if you can't predict it, you can't plan for it. Salient forecasts the weather better and further out than anyone else. So we're really in a position to improve the way so many industries operate. I've listed a few here that we've started doing work in, but really the opportunities and applications are nearly endless. We are looking for partners who want to join us on this journey to turn weather into a competitive advantage, reduce your risk, make more money, and improve the resiliency of the world's mission-critical supply chains. I'm Anthony Atlas. Come talk to me about the weather. Thank you.